Hi, readers. I hope you're doing well. I'm really enthusiastic about launching our new fourth grade unit, reading about the American Revolution. And this fourth grade unit is interesting because it talks about an interesting time in our country's history, the founding of our country. But also, it's interesting for fourth graders because sometimes fourth graders come in with some background knowledge on the unit, and sometimes fourth graders will come in not knowing so much. But so frequently and so often, when they leave the unit, they feel like they know so much about this time period, and they feel very proud of themselves for having that knowledge. It can be a really fun unit, and I'm excited to get started. It's a research unit. So I want to start by giving you a tip for getting ready for a research unit. And really, this is a reminder for those of you who joined us for the Reading the Weather, Reading the World unit. These are the same steps we took when we were researching a extreme weather or natural disasters. So as you already know, when researchers are getting ready to learn more about a topic, they first want to take a look at all the resources that they have. And what they do with them is they sort them from easiest to hardest. As we talked about when we were studying drought and floods, that you want to start with your easier text first before diving into trickier text. The next thing that we want to do is we want to skim the books for tables of contents and to think of what predictable subtopics are appearing. When we research extreme weather and natural disasters, we found that some of the predictable subtopics were like causes and effects and famous examples and the science behind everything and prevention and safety, right? Those were in a lot of our books. We're going to find out in the American Revolution what those might be. And then the last step, and this one's a little bit different from the last time we did this, is you want to just pick an accessible overview book just to get started, an overview of your subtopic, or maybe even an overview of the entire time period. Okay, are you ready to watch me do this? All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at some of my books that I have and see if I notice any predictable subtopics. And by the way, for the first part of this unit, we're just studying sort of causes and events that led up to the revolution. Later on in the unit, we'll talk about events that actually happened in the revolution. All right, we're taking a look here. This one's the Boston Tea Party. This looks like it's maybe written more in a narrative form, so it doesn't really have subtopics, but it looks like I'm going to keep alert for that. Is that a predictable subtopic that we'll be studying about? Oh, a flip perspective book. I like these. Tells about the story of the revolution from maybe the British side and also from the colonist side. So it'll almost be like two books in one. Let's see if we can find some predictable subtopics. Okay, the road to war. That sounds like it's the causes of it. Maybe we can see what some of the causes were. Oh, the Boston Tea Party. There it is again. Tea. That looks like that's going to be a predictable subtopic. Maybe a massacre in Boston, the Boston Massacre. Okay, that sounds familiar. All right, lots of things happened in Boston in that time. All right, this is a book called The Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. Okay, I don't know if this is going to have different subtopics. It looks like it's also written in sort of, maybe it's all about one subtopic. This, just the Paul Revere ride. Maybe perhaps written more narrative. The next expository, Boston Massacre. Okay, we've got a lot of Boston. We've got Boston Tea Party. We got Boston Massacre. We've got Paul Revere's Ride. There's another book on the Boston Massacre. Here's an overview book. Let's see what the overview book will have in it. It looks like it has, okay, Seeds of Rebellion. Okay, since these are the causes, the French and Indian War looks like it was the cause of the other war. Okay. Too many taxes. It looks like there's these things that are called like taxes or intolerable acts. Boston Massacre. Okay, I'm noticing a pattern here, aren't you? Of some predictable subtopics. I think, oh, there we go. Paul Revere's Ride. That's, again, seems like that's going to be important. You see what I'm doing here? I'm basically looking through the texts and looking through their tables of contents and flipping through the book to think about what are some predictable subtopics that keep appearing in the books. And I'm realizing that prior to the American Revolution and some of the causes of the war, these might be 5 big subtopics that we might study. The French and Indian War, the Intolerable Acts or the taxes, Boston Massacre or the Boston Tea Party, or Paul Revere's Ride. You'll notice on Google Docs that I asked for a survey of, which groups you wanted to be in most. So you're in some groups. But today, as you're trying this out, I want you to also try this out. I've got resources for each group posted, links to videos, articles, and I want you to sort them from easiest to hardest and see, am I right? Were these subtopics accurate? Are there any that we should add here? I only have 5. Sometimes it's nice to have 6 or 7. And then start with an overview, accessible overview book. Now this one looked pretty accessible, or this one looked pretty accessible to me. I might start with, I might start with this one. This one looks pretty accessible to me. I kind of like the illustrations too. So what I will do then is I have another option as I'm reading, because this is a research unit, so we're writing about our reading, right? So you have a couple options for writing about reading. One is you could do it old school, and you could jot in your reading notebook or on a piece of paper, right? Another option is you could do your writing about reading on a Google Doc form, and perhaps it could look like this. And you're just taking maybe a few notes, maybe on your subtopic, the Boston Massacre, or maybe you're also just taking notes on like overview, right? Overview of events, right? And causes. You could also do that. The point is this: whenever you're researching, you want to orient yourself to your text set, starting from easiest to hardest, taking a look at what subtopics tend to be appearing. And then in the case of history, you might want to read an accessible overview topic. Good luck today as you're reading. Have fun. I hope you learn lots. And I look forward to seeing the jots that you type or the ones that you upload from written pieces of paper. We'll check in later.